Alright, so this is our next video, and we're going to continue off our last theme, which is how powerful is Beerus. This time, we're going to talk about how far Beerus goes in Marvel, so we're going to continue off that and apply it to other universes.
Yeah, and basically in our last video, we deduced that Beerus is, at bare minimum, casually universal to multi-universal. So we'll be working off of that logic to see how far he goes in Marvel.
So yeah, we're going to skip the low tiers. It's not really worth it, not worth going through all the fodder. We're just going to start right with Galactus' Herald. So.
Yeah, Beerus versus Wolverine, like there's no point.
Yeah, exactly. So David's the Marvel expert. So
we're probably just gonna go. We're gonna go, I guess, straight into Herald tier. I guess that's the lowest. So I don't know. Herald tier, you have guys like Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer can fly at much faster than light speeds. You know, he can create singularities in your eyes. He can destroy stars pretty casually, solar systems even.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Yeah, I don't know how Beerus deals with all those hacks. You know, the singularities in your eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the thing, it's weird because Silver Surfer has that kind of skill set, but he's also, you know, he jobs a lot, so to speak. He never really brings that to bear in a fight. And
yeah.
I mean, an example I'll bring up here is when Thanos and Silver Surfer were fighting Odin. You know, I mean, Thanos, who I wouldn't even consider close to Beerus in terms of destructive capacity, was faring infinitely better than Silver Surfer did, who was just basically one-shotted.
Yeah, so that indicates that despite him having the hacks, he's a big jobber, so I doubt it'll
and in the end, I just think Beerus is just too much more powerful than him. Like, if we're going to argue that Silver Surfer could do all the things we said, like, oh, he would just, you know, make Beerus's eyes into singularities, I would just say Beerus Hakai's him, if we're going to go by that logic.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely, obviously, Beerus is definitely powerful enough to just erase Silver Surfer if he felt the need to.
All right, so you can continue going. Sorry.
So yeah, no, Beerus' destructive capacity absolutely shits on Herald tier. It's not even close. So then we move on to people, I want to say, like Thanos. And like I said, Thanos has tanked multiple attacks from Odin, who's at bare minimum multi-galaxy level. And he was actually like, the fight was in Asgard, and it was inconclusive in the sense that Odin won, but he never actually put Thanos down. Like, Thanos tanked all of his attacks. And again, this is a multi-galaxy buster. But ultimately, that's still nothing compared to Beerus, who's a casual universe buster. I mean, I don't think Thanos would be able to touch Beerus, and I think Beerus could easily just destroy him, honestly, in like a single attack.
And I think that leads us into our next topic, which is Odin, because Odin's discussed a lot in the community as this guy that beats Goku.
Yeah, I've seen this a lot. People saying that, like, Odin is like, he would just easily defeat like the likes of Goku, and even like I've seen people say he's Beerus level or he's above Beerus. He would destroy Beerus. See, the thing about Odin is that generally speaking, most of his best feats, the vast majority of his best feats, are multi-galaxy, galaxy level feats. But then he has a few feats where he's universal or even above. Like, for example, there's a feat where he creates like a universe-sized prison. Even though I'm not sure if we have the full context for that, like how long it took him to create the prison, what means he used to create the prison, etc. So again,
and I'm also not sure of the combative application of that, right?
I mean, then you also have like, I know he like ripped a realm out of Yggdrasil, the World Tree, and you know the realms in there are like the size of a universe, and then there's the feat that most people cite as to prove that Odin is like, you know, beyond Beerus and beyond Goku, is the feat where he's fighting, I think it was Seth. He was fighting Set or whatever, and their battle was like rippling across every plane of reality. It was tearing at the fabric of the multiverse, quote unquote. And so people say, oh shit, you know, this fight was taking like it was shaking the multiverse or whatever. First of all, I just want to say it wasn't like shaking the multiverse. It was just being felt across the multiverse. And, you know, even if you want to say, oh, that definitely puts him above Goku and Beerus, to be honest with you, the thing about that feat is that the actual destructive capacity of what was going on was only destroying galaxies. Like, no one was saying, like, Odin's fight with Seth is going to destroy the universe. Like, that was never remotely implied.
Yeah.
The main implication from that was they were destroying galaxies in their fight. Like, that was what they were actually destroying. And if Odin were to lose, I believe Doctor Strange says this, if Odin were to lose, then the universe would be in danger because then Set could destroy the universe. But their fight itself was not by any means destroying the universe.
And another thing is that these are really high tier, top of the line Odin feats. Go back to Thanos. Go back to the fact that Galactus bodies him. Good.
Yeah. And then there's the fact that like Galactus, who generally speaking, I can probably only think of one potentially multiversal feat, but even then, that's really shaky. That Galactus has, and we see Galactus just body Odin, and that's not even like a super well fed Galactus.
And he can't even take down Thanos. So I mean, this is not a guy that is multiversal in magnitude or scope. I mean,
yeah, by no means is Odin like a multiversal being. He generally is multi-galaxy and sometimes jumps into universal tier, and then he also has hacks. But again, I don't think that's going to save him from Beerus because I mean, even Super Saiyan God Goku is a universal being.
Yeah, and granted, this guy's inconsistent, but it does say a lot about Beerus.
Exactly, yeah. and Beerus is way more powerful than Super Saiyan God Goku. And we have the narrator saying Super Saiyan God Goku wielded the power capable of destroying the universe. Beerus is way beyond him. So I mean, in the end, I think Beerus would definitely take Odin.
All right, so now we get to the tiers where I'm not really sure, and we have characters that are going to be competitive with Beerus, but I think Beerus pulls that up until, and we'll say that as we get there. So David can go into this next tier.
Okay, so here's the thing. After Odin, you have Galactus. Now, I've seen some people place Galactus below Odin for some inexplicable reason. I don't really get that because, again, like I mentioned earlier, Galactus has bodied Odin before. Like, Odin threw all of his power that he had at Galactus, and he even went into the Odin sleep because he just threw all of his power at Galactus, and Galactus just kind of gets up and expresses his hatred for the Asgardians.
You Asgardians annoy me, I think was the word.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he wasn't like put down by it for a significant span of time. And overall, I mean, we have Thanos saying his power is Lilliputian compared to Galactus, which basically means like he knows like his power is nothing compared to Galactus. Galactus can casually destroy galaxies as a side effect of fighting. He can just body other multi-galaxy busters. And this is standard Galactus, mind you. So again, Galactus is quite a ways more powerful than the likes of Odin, who sometimes strays into universal range. So he has that going for him. Obviously, Galactus has a shit ton of hacks with like the power of Cosmic. He can do a lot of
that's where I'm not sure how Beerus fares, right? When you have these hacks that are kind of Marvel specific.
Exactly. Yeah, it's weird because again, in going by the logic of Dragon Ball, usually what happens in Dragon Ball is it's like regardless of what kind of hacks you have, if the other person is more powerful, they're going to beat you. It's like Jiren versus Hit in that sense. That's how Dragon Ball works, but Marvel is just different. But generally speaking, if we just want to go off of pure destructive capacity, pure raw power, I think Beerus would defeat a standard Galactus, just like a regularly fed Galactus.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you can do it, right? I don't think you can. We have to just compare power levels and exclude hacks because it's just too hard to go across the universe in that sense, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, and Beerus, of course, has his own degree of hacks himself. He can nullify energy. He can, erase people from existence.
With a Kai, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and he can erase people who are universe busters from existence. Like he's...
Yeah, definitely. We know this because, Goku does it almost to merge Zamasu, and Beerus is stronger than that Goku, so...
Exactly, and the universal feat in Battle God still happens in the manga, so again...
Yeah, it is legit. But I do think at that point, at least in the anime, Goku had parity with Beerus, but things changed from then, since then. But
yeah, exactly, and... So basically, after Beerus, I think Beerus takes like a standard Galactus, but then you have above standard Galactus, you have like a really well-fed Galactus, and the Galactus I'd bring up in this instance is the one that fought the Mad Celestials, and that Galactus was amped up on 4 planets.
Ooh.
And keep in mind, Galactus usually only feeds on one planet, and then he goes to like his multi-galaxy level self that is way above Odin and the likes Odin and Thanos. But so imagine after consuming 4 planets, just how high he would stretch into. And we even see how powerful he is. He's literally fighting 4 Celestials on his own.
4 Mad Celestials.
Completely holding his own. He's actually beating them, in my opinion, while they're separated. And then, Galactus actually kills one of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there we can... And Celestials are just way beyond the likes of Odin's pay grade.
Oh, yeah.
So their Celestials are extremely powerful, and... We have a very well-fed Galactus taking on 4 of them at once. That's where it gets really sketchy for me. Because then again, you have to factor in Galactus's hacks. But again, this is where I'm really not sure who would win between Galactus and Beerus at this point. I guess you could still say Beerus has higher raw power.
I think Beerus tops out here, but then you have the guy who one-shots this Galactus.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how this would go, and then this is where I think Beerus stops. I think Beerus stops at the merged Mad Celestial. So basically, after Galactus, this really well-fed Galactus bodied these four Celestials and killed one of them.
Hmm.
You know, they were like, "Oh shit! Like we have to fuse." So they fused into a giant Mad Celestial that dwarfed Galactus in size, and they just one-shotted him completely and killed him actually until Franklin Richards
Yeah,
resurrected him.
the way
But
I see it, I don't see how Beerus gets past that. But even if you say he does get past that, I think the stopping point is going to be Universal Eternity. I don't think he's going to get past Universal Eternity.
yeah, I'd say Universal Eternity is definitely where Beerus would stop. And again, there's some misconceptions about Universal Eternity. You know, you have people saying it's just a universe. You know, it's like we know Beerus can bust universes, therefore Eternity is inconsequential. But we know Eternity is more than that. First of all, Eternity isn't just a single universe. Like Eternity is a timeline. Like he is the embodiment of that entire cosmos in its entirety, or that entire universe in its entirety. And we also have the fact from, if you remember the Infinity Gauntlet, you know, series, we have Thanos. IG Thanos just casually destroys, you know, Chaos, Order, Galactus, the two, you know, one above all, the Celestial, not the God. And you know, even Mistress Death just stands no chance against IG Thanos. And then IG Thanos is confronted by Eternity, and you know, Thanos tells Eternity like, "Hey, look, you've finally let your foot soldiers stop doing the work for you. Now you're actually coming out yourself." So obviously, the implication there is that Eternity is far more powerful than, you know, Galactus, Death, Chaos, Order, and all
And a
those.
great example would be Ego the Living Planet. Well, Ego the Living Planet is a planet, but he's far stronger than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You know, just because, you know, even if Eternity was just the embodiment of the universe, it doesn't mean he's universe level. Like, you know, we have Ego the Living Planet, who's a planet, but he's not just a planet level being. Like he's, you know, staved off Galactus before.
Yeah, and Eternity, I'm sure, has plenty of hacks. So at this point, I don't see
Of
Beerus.
course, yeah. This is where it gets really sketchy because we're talking about a being. I know we've talked about dimensionality before, but this is a being that represents, you know, a whole timeline and like higher realms of existence. It can manifest at the highest levels of reality.
Yeah, this is a guy who's on a cosmic scale that Beerus I don't think can match. So
yeah,
I think Beerus stops at Merge Man Celestial. If he gets past that, he no question gets beaten by Eternity. Well, this also kind of puts us in contradiction to Geekdom's video with Comics Explained, talking about how far Jiren goes. So we'll probably discuss that at some time in the future. Discuss that video.
Yeah, I actually thought Geekdom was very fair in that video. Had a very conservative opinion. I remember they were talking about how Jiren would fare against Universal Eternity.
But Comic Explained specifically was
I disagreed with his note because again he was speaking as if Eternity was just a universe, like your standard universe that like Beerus can just bust on one of his off days. But again, Eternity is much more than just a universe. You know, it's like a living being. It's a timeline.
Yeah,
it's a higher dimensional. You know,
it is Eternity as said in the name, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that concludes this episode of Beerus. I think our next one will probably be how far he fares in DC. Is that?
Yeah, it's either going to be that or we might talk a bit about Jiren.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we might think about why we think Jiren is Ultra Instinct, because that's something that we're kind of in contrast to. So a lot of people we hang out with. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.